All right, hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about Quizlet. I'm on my laptop just because Quizlet seems to work a little bit better on the teacher end from a computer. You can still do it on your iPad. It doesn't feel quite as nice. It's a little bit clunkier. So I'm on my computer just to show you what you can do. Now, Quizlet's kind of a nice program. It's a big program, and the great thing about Quizlet is there's a huge community behind it that's already made most of the content. All right, now you can make Quizlet as basic or as complex as you'd like to. So you can, on the left side here, I can create classes if I want to, and you can enroll students in your classes. The nice thing about that is then they will see the activities that you publish to the class, and they can go in there and do it all on their own. The downside is you do have to get kids enrolled, and if you choose not to go with the class route, that's fine. You just need to make sure that you post the links to your Quizlet activities in your Google Classroom or iTunes U course. So let's talk about what the different activities are. Now these are all called study sets. That's kind of what Quizlet calls their thing. And study sets are essentially flashcards. So I have a couple of study sets. I'm going to go to my study set here. Otherwise, I could search if I wanted to search for a study set. A lot of people have made study sets, so there's always a huge community. I've never had to make one from scratch. Everything that I've ever wanted to ask in Quizlet, there has been someone who's made a study set. Now, I might need to change those and modify those and take some questions out or change some questions, but I've never had to create one from scratch because there's just so much stuff in here. So let's take a look at one of my study sets. So here I have a study set on the colonies. So 23 terms it's called. So let me scroll down here. So I've got 23 different questions. Now, one side of the flashcard is here on the left side, so New England colonies, and then this would be the correct answer. All right, middle colonies, this is the correct answer. Now, they've put pictures here, and those pictures will appear in some different games versus others, and so it might be a nice little helpful hint. It just kind of makes it look a little bit nicer, but it's certainly not required at all. Okay, so we have all of these different ones. Let's say I want to change a couple. The pen here would allow me to edit it, so I can change the name, the text. If I don't like the necessary picture, I can get rid of the picture, things like that. Down at the very bottom, if I want to add or remove terms, this is where I would add or remove an entire question. If I tap on that, now I have the ability to change what the picture is. If I want to add voice recordings, I can do that. Or I could trash the term and just get rid of it. A lot of the games require at least 12 terms, so that's something to just keep in mind and be aware of. Now these are the games that are possible. You can do just straight flashcards, writing terms, blah, blah, blah. Live is the game that we played in PD 2020, so that requires 12 terms and at least 6 people, because it randomly puts them into groups and it needs to ask 12 questions to finish. Learn is kind of a adaptive game. It tracks how well you do on different questions, and it kind of gives you those terms more often, whereas if you do really well, it kind of pushes those terms out and away. So it's kind of an interesting little thing you can do. Okay, so I created this study set, and I want the students to do something with it. Here are my options that affect the whole study set, and one of them is share it. If I hit share, I can send an email address, I can share it to Google Classroom directly from here, or I can just copy the link. And this link, if anyone taps on it, it'll take them to this study set, and they won't get the editing ability, but they will be able to play these games up top, and they can pick the game to play. All right, so you kind of have more of the study ones over here between learn and test, and then match, gravity, live are the games. That's why it kind of says play right there. All right, so just by hitting the share button, I can just copy and paste that link, put it anywhere in my iTunes U course, in Google Classroom. I could put it up on the board, I could airdrop it, turn it into a QR code, I could do a bunch of different things with it, and it would take the students to the Colony Study Desk. Now it's not going to track their progress because I haven't put it in a classroom. If I want to track their progress, that's where I would create a classroom, and I would hit this plus button, and I would add it to a class folder. The students would have to log into Quizlet, and then they would do it, and it would track their progress and give you a little bit more information on it. But just be aware that if I just share it, I'm not going to see the progress. So if I want to track that, I do need to create a classroom. Let's say I want to find a brand new study set, right? I like Quizlet, I want to make a study set, I'm sold on it, let's go. Okay, so I could do one of two things. I can create from scratch, or I can search. I generally try and search and see if there's something that roughly fits my needs, and then I can shape it into exactly what I want. So I'm going to search colonies. I don't know, because colonies was one of the study sets we were at before. All right, you can actually see the study set that I stole. In fact, it's right here. But let's say I like this study set, 12, perfect, wonderful. All right, so this works out pretty well. There's a couple that I don't like, a couple that I want to change, but I overall want to use this. Notice I don't have any editing rights because this isn't my study set, and it's not fair that I edit someone else's study set. So in order to get editing rights, I'm going to do right here, I'm going to click right here, it says copy. It's now going to copy it. I can change the name if I want to, or I'll do copy our colonies sample set. And here, I can trash any terms that I don't want to. If I want to add terms, I can add cards at the bottom. I can edit what I want it to say. And when I hit create, it now takes that, it makes a copy of it, and now it's mine. So I'm not changing someone else's stuff. It makes a copy and lets me do it. Same if I go to create, I can give it a title. Here's where I add a diagram if I want to. Otherwise, I would put my terms here, and I could start from scratch. Quizlet is fairly straightforward. There's a lot to it, but there's a huge community behind it. It has some great programs. It's a lot of fun. Students can go to these websites on their iPad and play these games on their iPad, but teacher-wise, it's a lot easier to create stuff off of your computer. All right, I hope that helped out a little bit. If you have any problems, come see me in room A214. Otherwise, thank you and good luck.